So if you're watching this video, you probably do not know exactly how to price your services. Either that or you are thinking about repricing your services because maybe you're not making as much money as you want to be making, even though you are making sales. And so by the end of this video, I'll give you and I'll explain some just framework concepts and some ideas that you can take and actually implement to then increase your price, or if you're not getting any sales, decrease it to the right amount of money where people will start buying. So the first thing that I want to cover is you need to figure out your offer, and you need to ask, what do you provide? And whether that be ads, whether that be like appointment setting, branding, social media management. Truthfully, people only care about like making money. Like they spend 2K on you, they want to make more than 2K back and not have a headache. So if you can take away like stress and you can make them more money, then that's really all you need. You don't need like 50 things to be going on that's really extra. And you're also gonna need to figure out, if you're like gonna sign clients monthly or quarterly. This is just part of your offer. And then the next thing is like, do you have a guarantee or a risk reversal, right? Because if you do, you can charge more. And I'll give you a quick example. So if you are on a sales call and someone's trying to sell you something, right? You're on a sales call, you need to buy something. You're actually on 2 sales calls, right? You're going to 2 competitors, I guess, right? And one of them is like, yep, so I've shown you everything. You see that we have some proof, everything I hope has looked good to you. We can get started literally tomorrow, and the price will be $1,000 per month. And then you ask them like, okay, like, what if it doesn't work out though? And they'll give you the usual objection, the thing that's like, oh yeah, but like business owners, they invest, and the person that's making more money than you, what do you think they would do? They would take the risk and put the bet on themselves. Just the objection handling, right? But that doesn't take away the fact that they don't have a guarantee. Sure, you got sold, but it wasn't because of the offers. It was because that was a really good salesman. And so the odds that you are that amazing of a salesman are lower than the odds that you can just have a good offer. So if you have a guarantee and a risk reversal, then you go to the second guy, right? And the second guy in the sales call is like, yeah, so the same spiel, right? Everything I've shown you right now is good. I hope you like it. And the price is $2,000. Obviously, it's a one-time payment of $2K to get started. And obviously, if it doesn't work out, we'll give you your money back. The second one is just way more appealing, and that guy can be charging more. And so in that position, you may not buy from the first guy because he doesn't have a guarantee for $1,000, but you're going to end up buying the $2,000 thing because the guy has a guarantee and a risk reversal. So if you have this, you can charge more. Then the next question they're going to need to figure out is how much value do they get in report to how much they pay. Now, if you're in the beginning, you need to understand, okay, maybe I'm not the best at service delivery, but maybe I can work with a lower ticket niche so I can still get conversions. And so that they don't go out on like 0, right? They go out on maybe even, and I'm not going to add any stress on them. So appointment setting, I'm going to get better anyway with time. I'm really going to put my heart into this, and I'm dedicated to making it work because I have a risk reversal anyway. And I bet on myself that if they pay $1,000, they'll be making more. So if I say for 3 months, if they pay 3K right now, I have to make them more. And if they get the value that is more than 3K, then you can charge $3,000. If they will make less, you probably have to charge less. Now, it's also about how you present it, and obviously your sales skills and your confidence and whatnot. But this is a question that you need to ask yourself in order to understand, like, how much would you charge? How much value do you give? If you're giving a lot of value, you can charge a lot. If you're giving little value, you just charge less. And this just makes sense because people can see through this, and if they don't think they're getting enough value, they just won't pay the price. And you can make the math with sample prices, right? So, will they think it's more valuable for them if the price is $1,000 a month? Look at everything you offer, look at all your proof, look at your ability to sell, and imagine that sales call, or maybe you already have some videos and some feedback loops that you can refer back to, and put yourself in their position. Like, genuinely close your eyes, just ignore everything, and just put yourself in a position that they are in. They've been on this call, they've been asked questions, they've been shown like what you showed them, the proof and right everything that you have going on. And now they're making the choice in their head. Is this worth the $1,000 I'm going to pay is this product going to make me more? Is the stress that I'm going to get rid of going to be worth this amount of money? Is the money I'll be making and the guarantee that I'll be making this money worth paying this investment upfront right now? And so you just make the math in your head with simple prices. Like, will they think it's more valuable for them if it's 1K per month? Probably. Do they still think that if it's 2K? If you have not really, but if you have a good product, yes. If you have a really good product, you can go like, okay, if I pay $3,000, this guarantee and this offer is really good and very solid and they're a very good thing, I'm getting a deal out of this by paying $3,000. Because this is why people buy. People buy your service because if you charge 3K and then the person buys it for 3K, that person thinks that they are getting a deal. That's why people make choices, right? That's why people buy things, is because they think they're getting the better end of the deal, because otherwise they wouldn't be making a purchase unless they're like dying. Oh, and here's a concept they can use. Every 5 closes, right? If you're at the beginning, you start with 1K per month, let's say, right? Every 5 closes, you can increase it by 10% until you are making less money than you were making previously. So if you look per month, you can structure this per month and you can look every single month how much money you're making. And every 5 closes or 10 closes, this is a number that you can choose yourself, you can increase the price by 10%. So you can go from 1K to 1.1K. Now, obviously, it's a bit of a number. You can go like maybe 1.2K, 1.5K. Every 20 closes, increase it by a little bit more, right? And you can go for 1.1K, and then you get another 5 closes. You get 1.2K, another 5, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. And then you realize that if you put it at 1.7K, now you're getting less sales overall, and you're making less money. So now you understand that 1.6K is the price where you're making the most money for offering the same amount of service, and you're basically just getting the best end of the deal on your end. And here, now I'm going to go into a couple concepts. So by now you should probably have at least some idea of how to price your services. And now I'm just going to go into some concepts. So sometimes, especially if you're in the beginning, right, you will need to be flexible. Some people just won't have the money, right? Like some people just won't be able to buy your service. Like some people just won't have 2K in the bank. It is what it is, right? They also have a business. They also have their own expenses. They have families, etc. And sometimes you need to be flexible. And if you're in the beginning, let's say you put your price point at 1.5K. If you see in the sales call that the guy is on the lower end, you have your probing questions. How much revenue are you making? How much of that is profit? How much are you willing to invest, etc. If you understand the fact that this person does not have the amount of money to get your main offer, instead of pitching him the offer and then try to go in, you could pitch the offer and then if you're on 3 months, go on to payment plans if you think that's going to make you more money. But if you don't have that option, it is better to just sign them for less. Deviate a bit from your main offer, because it is better to get paid less than to not get paid at all. In that sales call, right? Your main offer is 1.5K. The guy doesn't have that money on him, but maybe he can work around and get 1K. It is better to say that it costs $1,000 than to say it's costing 1.5K, and then the guy saying, I can't pay that. And when you backtrack and say, okay, we can work for 1K, lose all your credibility, because then he's definitely not going to buy from you. Well, maybe some will, but I would be pretty skeptical if that happened to me, if I'm working with someone and then they backtrack the price. So it's better to get paid less than to not get paid. And here are a couple extra methods that you can use in general to improve the way your offer sounds, like just the price and whatnot. And generally, I'm not a fan of having multiple offers or multiple services, like premium-based packaging and tiers like that. That's cringe. I've never seen any successful SMMA owner have the premium, the diamond package. That doesn't exist. So if you do have 2 offers, so for example, one has appointment setting, one doesn't, you can use the idea of anchoring. If you have 2 offers, right, they're basically the same thing, and one is appointment setting and one is no appointment setting. If you're charging 3K per month for the appointment setting one, and then the no appointment setting is 1.5K, you start with the 3K, so the person is like, okay, this is expensive, and then you go to 1.5K, and it's like, yeah, so this one doesn't have appointment setting, but it's half the price. And so in their mind, they're going to be like, well, the main thing I'm here for is ads, and you also have the other benefits that you give them, and I'm only losing out on this one thing, but I'm saving half the money. So now 1.5K not only sounds less than 3K, but also just sounds and looks more appealing. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the higher the price, the higher perceived value you have. And I'm saying this not to charge $10,000 per month, which I guess you could do. I mean, no one's stopping you from doing that. But I'm saying this because if you have like $500 per month, you just look and you sound cheap. Like, you will not attract the premium clients that you want to work with, or like the good clients that you want to work with. You will attract the people who buy based on the competitor's price to try to look for the lowest price, and who are going to be an absolute headache to deal with. The people who pay the least are the biggest headache, and the people who pay the most are the least headache. So that's another concept to take into account when you're determining your price. And then obviously, this is just in the sales call, like the way you word it. So if I say, for example, so you have to pay, the price for everything here is going to be $3,000 for the next quarter. Versus if I say, so the total price on everything that I've shown you so far is just a simple one-time payment of $3,000 for 90 days, and we can get started right now. Those are two very different approaches with the exact same offer. So you can obviously like improve your wording, do all of that. Just think a bit on that, improve your wording so that you also just get more sales and you don't sound worse. You know, you want to sound better, you don't want to sound worse. And that's it. This is how you should price your services as a beginner. I guess I gave you some extra sauce with, you know, the anchoring, the wording, the extra concepts. And now, I mean, you should have an idea on how to price your services. Just think, is it more worth to them on what they're getting than they're paying? And if the answer is yes, usually if you did a good job in putting yourself in their position, you should be right. And if you liked the video, watch another.